Yikes. I want that spring training New York Yankees jersey. That thing looks nice. Yeah, today's one of them days, folks. Just bear with me here 1 second. Trying to set myself up here. A day in the life of an eBayer. Well, happy Monday, everybody. I hope you are not in the snow zone like they are in the Northeast right now. They're getting beaten with snow. Cheers, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. I got some eBay orders to prepare. Not many, but what's going on, Connor? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everybody, to another live stream where I go off. Because, again, it seems that the post office is up to its old shenanigans again. Losing envelopes, losing orders. They're not scanning the damn envelopes. They're not scanning the packages. This morning I had a customer who, fortunately, it was very professional, very understanding. I believe that this is a repeat customer, where a Mike Trout 1989 Topps Chrome refractor unfortunately got lost or wasn't scanned or what have you, so I had to replace it with a card of the customer's choice. I offered the customer, you want a refund or pick a card of equal or lesser value, and the customer chose a card of equal or lesser value, which is cool. So I was able to replace that card. So with all that being said, I've had to replace this customer's card, but it's very annoying. I mean, I've already started preparing, whatever orders I got to take to the post office. It's still a little early yet. I haven't even had breakfast, folks. Forgive me if my mouth is heavy. It's because, unfortunately this morning my phone started going off super early, and sometimes I forget to turn the ringer off and I forget to lower the volume on my phone, so I get those email alerts and eBay alerts and stuff like that if people message me or whatever it is. And one of my customers' cards didn't arrive, and then I look at my emails this morning, and there's a card that's being returned to me, and of course it's the post office shaking me down for more postage, where I've been using the proper postage. This is yet another case of the post office just trying to make, desperation money. So I don't know what the card is. I don't know what's being returned. We'll find out when the mailman drops it off earlier today. It's just annoying and frustrating when, I have a customer base, a very loyal customer base. I'm very fortunate to be able to sell, baseball cards the way I have. And I deeply care about my reputation on eBay because I'm dealing with other people's money. It's not like these scam artists, like these box breakers lately. Especially this one case that happened recently, where somebody pulled a one of one. I think it was like a soccer card. Yeah, we're not going to do that here on this channel. So I don't think so. We're not doing that on this channel. Goodbye. So with that being said, it's just that you have to forgive me. It's just I'm frustrated. You know, when I get customers messaging me that their orders didn't arrive, they start panicking, which makes me panic because the money has already been exchanged, transactions have been made. And if these people, you know, if my customers don't get their cards, you know, it throws me into a fervor because, you know, I've got bills and expenses to pay. As a matter of fact, thanks to all of you, I have ink cartridges arriving from my printer again today. I actually was able to get a whole bunch of HP 910 standard cartridges. I actually bought them in bulk this time. I mean, I have enough black ink of the XL versions of those cartridges, but I bought extra colored cartridges just to have them. And I was able to get them in bulk thanks to my eBay sales and thanks to all of you. But, you know, when things like this happen, when the post office does not deliver my damn orders to their customers, it's frustrating. They don't scan, no matter what effort I make. 9 out of 10 cards will get delivered to my customers, and there's that one fucking card that doesn't get scanned, especially by my home post office. I'm about to file another complaint, and I'm going to call them out directly here publicly, the Pineville 28226 post office where I live. They've already gotten in trouble several times, and I've already filed a complaint against them for their fucking ill-mannered temper because, well, look who works at the post office. Let's take a guess. You know, they like the paycheck, they like the union benefits, even though they gave up their right to strike and their right to the collective bargaining agreement, so they're basically slaves to the system. Their union sucks ass. But it costs me money because of their fuck-ups. I mean, how much longer does this have to go on with the post office? I wish Trump would federalize them. Because Trump would crack the whip and make them earn their fucking paychecks. It's annoying because it costs me money. Every time one of these doesn't make it to my customers, it costs me money. Here's an example of that right here. I had to replace a Mike Trout 1989 2024 Topps Chrome refractor, and thank God the customer was nice enough to you know, work out a little deal with me where I can replace the card. But it cost me the cost of the card. It cost me the envelope to ship it in. It cost me the ink from my printer. It cost me the labels and the stickers that I use. And all of that. It cost me money. Losing a penny is a loss. And it's been happening again. For a while, everything seemed to be doing okay. But now, here we go again with the post office post-holiday 2025. And the post office is up to their shenanigans again. They're up to their bullshit again. So, thank God I have a very good and loyal customer base that at least I'm able to mitigate these issues, and I have enough cards and money to cover myself just in case. But it's just another step backwards because I have a lot of expenses that need to be paid this month and next month. Renter's insurance, which covers the cost of everything that's in my home, including my business and, you know, my personal effects and everything like that. I have car insurance I have to pay. I have rent to pay. I have the electric bill to pay. My cell phone. All of that stuff needs to be paid. And coming up even $1 short because of the incompetence of the post office costs me money and could potentially throw a wrench into gears when I need to pay rent and stuff. Or if I need to feed myself. It's fucking awful, man. It really is. It pays for itself in no time. Even with high volume, you won't need to buy ink for probably 2 years. Yeah, I'm considering it, to be honest with you. I mean, I did find settings within... What did I do with that? I'm not paying attention. You see how riled up I am? Not paying attention to what I'm doing. Oh, it's already in the envelope. You see how fucked up I am? Oh, yeah. Relax, dude. Oh, my God. I didn't even have my caffeine yet. When you get like that, folks, learn to step back and take a timeout. So I need a timeout. Clearly, I'm too frustrated for this just yet. But yeah, this printer, unfortunately, it's starting to wear me out. I mean, fortunately, now I found a seller that does sell ink cartridges in bulk, which is good, which saves me money. Or in proper economic terms, I'm spending less money on product. There's no such thing as saving money. But I am spending less money, which is good. But yeah, this printer is beginning to wear me down. I'm going to have to invest in a new printer. You know, even a buddy of mine told me, recently that, if you're constantly spending money on ink cartridges, and that price does add up, even though it's a tax deduction for the business, or a tax write-off, I should say. Well, both are true. It's still a nuisance because, you're talking anywhere between $30 to $60 for a complete set. If I'm able to get cartridges in bulk and I can knock that price down to $30 even, I mean, that's a win for me. But, yeah, it's beginning to wear me out. I remember you saying that before in a previous live stream or a comment someplace. Yeah, it's beginning to wear me out, this printer, just a little bit. But we'll see what the future holds. Right now there's a lot of things I need to do. I need to get tax forms filled out for North Carolina. Rent is due. The insurance for my apartment and for the business is due. There's a lot that needs to be done between now and the end of 2026 tax season. I've got my tax forms here. I just have to crunch the numbers for the business. I have to get my 1099K ready, go through all my receipts from last year, go through my bank account and see where the expenditures are. Thank God eBay automatically lists expenditures, print cartridges, envelopes, top loaders, sleeves, supplies, basically, for all of this stuff. And, travel expenses, if I have to get gas for the car, food. There are certain deductions you're allowed, I think up to 10%. You can claim lunch. You can claim the electricity up to 10%. My rent for the apartment, I can claim up to 10%, I believe. But, it's just taking the time to get those numbers, on paper and whatnot. I have to do like a spreadsheet type of thing for the year. But yeah, it's just aggravating. If any of you are eBay customers of mine, unfortunately, if you've noticed that I've raised the prices on my shipping cost, I don't have a choice here because, again, with the USPS emails that I get, that I sign up for the informed delivery so that this way I can see what's coming before it comes. This way I can keep track of my own personal deliveries as well. There's a card that's being returned. I have no idea which card or cards this is. But of course, there's a sticker with a finger pointing at the damn thing trying to shake me down for more postage when the postage is fucking correct. But again, the post office, as incompetent as it is, just, it's ridiculous. I spent $265 on my printer back in June, print out around 1,000 orders a month, and my original ink that came with the isn't even half empty yet. The ink replacement is cheaper than the cartridges. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up investigating that for myself. It's just at the time, I got that on sale. It was cheap. I got it over at Office Max or whatever it is. And, it was just a spur of the moment purchase because, when I got started, I was completely inexperienced, didn't really understand this stuff. Like, for example, I would love to have a laser printer or as far as the label maker is concerned, I'd love to have a label maker so I don't have to buy paper ever again. I could just get rolls of the sticky paper and just slap the label on the box or the envelope and be done with it instead of having to buy Scotch tape. Obviously, doing it this route is the cheaper route, even though it's a little more tedious. Little conveniences like that help, but most likely sometime in the future I'm going to have to investigate probably upgrading my printer because it's just not cutting it anymore. And it's not because it can't print or anything, it's just the cost of the ink cartridges that are really the headache. There is a setting that I discovered over the past few weeks where it uses a lot less ink, which is good, because you really don't need to use the full-on ink with these labels. I don't want to dox my customer here, but for example, like that, the model number I use, if you want to research it, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a note of that right now and add it to the list of notes I still have here. So HP Smart Tank. $7602. So there it is right there. And that'll be up on my desk for future reference, or inside my desk for future reference. Yeah, it's reached a point where, like, I'm going to have to streamline a little bit more as far as efficiency is concerned and trying to spend as little money as possible. I mean, I could probably resell this printer. It's just, oh man, it's just these little inconveniences, especially with the post office. It's the freaking worst, man. Thank God at least this customer was cool about it, that I was able to replace the lost Mike Trout with that Shohei Ohtani I showed on camera. And actually, I have a bunch more Shohei Ohtanis from 2025 I'm probably going to lost. I found 12 of them, and they're like $1.50 each. And usually the low end cards sell pretty well for me. So when you're running a small business, every little, yes, it does. Amen. I never realized it, and that's that arrogance about me. I guess working, a union job like I did for all those years, everything is pretty much done for you. All you have to do is just show up and do your job, And the girls in the office for any contractor I was working for, they have everything set up. They do all the clerical work. They do the printing. They do the research. They do all the paperwork for the government, whatever government that may be. There's a lot that goes into it, man, and I now that I'm doing this for almost 2 years, you see these things for yourself, and it's fun. It's nice to make the money, yes. But then the other things that go into it, people don't realize like what's involved, and having a decorum, obviously I cuss and swear and, all that kind of thing. I'm not a traditional business guy. I'm just another schmuck like everybody else is, wearing baseball hats and jerseys, man. I'm not a suit and tie guy. I never was. And I like to come down to the level of the people who are just like me. Most guys are just baseball hat wearing, pizza eating, baseball watching, dudes who wear dirty sneakers, you know what I mean? Like that type of thing. So I understand my customer base. And a lot of my customer base are mostly blue collar, if not some white collar, and I try to come down to that level. And I never want to forget where I come from. Even though I'm not making a ton of money, I'm still making money, nevertheless. And I never want to forget my roots, like Jeff Wilson and Ken Golden and guys like that. They completely forget where they come from. So with that being said, it's been interesting because there are things about business I never knew. And a lot of it is clerical. But, obviously I do everything myself. But yeah, that statement right there, every little bit of savings helps. That is true. It's like what I did recently over the past 2 or 3 months, where I started taking post office envelopes and shredding them up with the paper cutter, just so I don't have to buy the fold-up cardboard sleeves anymore. And that saves me a ton of money right there. Or I'm spending less money on having to buy cardboard sleeves when I could just cut them myself. And that took a huge cost off of my shoulders, you know what I mean? So, and then again, buying these ink cartridges in bulk like I did, I think there's like 12 of them coming or something like that, and I only paid like $30. You know what a full set of HP 910 XL and 910 standards, so it's typically 4 cartridges per pack. You get the 1 XL, and then you get the 3 standards. They can run you anywhere between, depending on the seller, $60 to $90 plus shipping and tax. So to get the standards, to get like 12 of them for $30, I consider that a slam dunk. Especially if you look at the expiration dates. All of these, fortunately, are 2027. So I can have them sit there for quite some time, and I don't have to worry about them drying out. To me, the worst customers are those who order eBay standard envelopes and they panic when their order isn't there. Yeah, and that's happened to me many times, and I've complained about that on the channel, and I've made YouTube videos about that. And I had that happen fairly recently with a Yoshinobu Yamamoto Mojo refractor. But in truth, this customer was correct, and I'll give the customer credit, because when I looked at the shipping itinerary, you could see it was printed by myself, but it was never scanned by the post office. And this post office, Pineville, North Carolina, 28226, has been investigated several times over the years for incompetency, throwing out people's mail in the garbage. Ballantyne, the next county over, was being investigated for check washing, stealing checks. And a lot of local post offices around here, I have a video over in my playlist, the chaos that is USPS, UPS, FedEx, etc., where 75,000 packages were sitting in limbo, and the post office was investigated here for that. Why are these packages not moving? It's awful, because a lot of it is not our fault, and I can verify all of it and prove it. And when I bring my baseball cards to the post office, they should be scanned immediately. And they're not. It should be item received by post office, item is off to the next center. You would see that. Boom, 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 boom. But I've been dealing with that for a long time. But this customer was correct. It was not scanned by the post office. I know I shipped this fucker. And you can see the envelope was paid for. It was I think the customer paid, I gave him 10% off. I think it came out to like $13, $14 for this Bowman Chrome Mojo refractor. And it should have been received by the customer within 7 to 10 business days, and it wasn't even scanned from this post office right here. And I have to assume, and I have to allege, that it was stolen by somebody in that post office. And I don't steal people's money, man. And that's why I make these live streams. That's why I do YouTube shorts. If I got big orders, I'm not going to dox my customers, but here, this is oh, by the way, I hope the asshole is watching that I reported to eBay for harassing messages because they were trying to get this New York Giants jersey for much cheaper, and because I refused to bow to their whims, I ended up selling it for the price I was asking for anyway. So here it is, dumbass. Again, I don't want to dox my customers, but there it is, dumbass, sold. And you've been reported to eBay for violating terms of service. Twice messaging me with harassing messages. And you got to deal with people like that as well when they don't get their way. Fuck these people. But yeah, the incompetency of the post office is still running rampant. I thought this was over with. I had a long stretch where I wasn't getting any complaints from my customers. Items were arriving in time. You can see if you go through your orders list that, delivered. In my case, I have the option to kill the background light, so I have it in dark mode. So I can tell instantly, green, 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 green check mark, green check mark, green check mark. Yeah, some get scanned, some don't. I've had some that weren't even scanned for 2 weeks, and the first scan wasn't until yeah. That happens sometimes. I mean, I've talked about it on the channel. I've tried to mitigate that. So again, I don't want to dox my customers. I should actually make a template when this subject comes off so I can show. So again, I don't want to dox anybody, but this is one of two current orders right here. So you see scan before delivery, fragile. And I go one step further than that. We'll look at the other envelope behind that, and all my envelopes are typical. There's even a little arrow sticker to point to the damn QR code to scan the thing. How much more eye candy do you need? And this is where the incompetence comes in. You have a big red label, a big green label, and an arrow pointing to the QR code to scan for the postage. Normally, I would throw that over my shoulder, but those are other people's cards now, so I want to be respectful of them. It's like what I did with that Barry Bonds card. At this point, that thing's a whole other controversy in and of itself. I made a YouTube short about it last night. But yeah, the post office is just awful. They're pulling their shenanigans again, and now as a result, I have a feeling a lot of cards are going to be returned to me. I already have a return coming that I saw in my USPS informed delivery account that something is coming back. I have no idea what it is. And they're trying to shake me down for more postage. As a result, to mitigate that, it's going to force me to raise my prices on the shipping, like I had to do with this replacement Shohei Ohtani card. It's annoying because it costs me money. It costs me the cost of the envelope. It costs me the tamper-proof label. It costs me the plastic envelope I seal the card in. It costs me a sticker. The fragile sticker cost me the scan before delivery sticker, cost me time. There are things I could be doing right now instead of having to worry about this. But, when I get messages that early in the morning from customers that are saying, hey, man, and thank God I got, again, folks, I'll drink to that. I know it's too early for a grown-up, beverage, sugar-free Red Bull, of course. The unofficial sponsor of the channel, or drink of the channel, I should say. When I have good customers who are very understanding and very patient, you have no idea how important that is, because if you don't have a certain decorum, if you're not dealing with your fellow collectors, and again, it's like the asshole with that New York Giants jersey who all of a sudden started attacking me personally on eBay because they didn't get their way, because they wanted that thing for much less than what I was selling it for. Until I make a sale, it's mine still. All of these cards that are here, and let me take this off of my camera stand here. All of these cards, every single one of them, are mine until I decide to sell them. I set the prices. I set the rules. I am the king of my... And if people don't like it, that's just too bad. That's how reality works. And this person just kept going and going and going, and I ended up reporting them to eBay because they're violating terms of service for harassment. Not a problem. Thank you very much, Cardboard. Much appreciated. And I always appreciate, somebody like yourself stopping by, because you know how it is as a seller, and as a collector. So take care. God bless, and enjoy the rest of your Monday. Yeah, I'm not going to be on here for too much longer anyway, folks. I want to get these to the post office. Want to have a little bit of breakfast first. I might scramble me up some egg and cheese or something like that, or make myself a turkey sandwich or whatever I'm in the mood for. We'll see, because I am getting a bit of a hunger headache. But again, to my eBay customers, I apologize for having to raise the rates on my shipping. I don't have much of a choice. I still got to go back into my older listings to change the shipping on those, unfortunately, because of this issue. I remember talking about this a while back, that the post office was going to raise their rates, but I haven't seen really any rate increases as everything's automated through eBay. But if this is going to be the case with the post office again, I don't have a choice, because if they're going to continuously shake me down and literally nickel and dime me, the cost has to come out of someplace, folks, and I don't like that. I really don't like that because, again, I'm a collector. I know how it is. I want to try to spend as little money as possible on a thing. But when you're dealing with this archaic, ancient dinosaur of a system, my customers end up paying the price for that, and it costs me money as well, folks. So now, again, I'm out not just a Mike Trout card, I'm out another Shohei Ohtani card, plus the plastic sleeve I encase the cards in, the envelope, the staples, the stickers, the tamper-proof labels. It all costs money, and it all adds up. Even if it's 10 cents, $10, $1, that's your money. And once that money is in my hands, you get your item that you paid for. That's how it works. That's capitalism for you. You pay for a service, I provide such service. And it's my responsibility to make sure you get your items. And if that doesn't happen, well, guess who has to get run through the ringer? Me. And then my customers panic. For the most part, I'd say about 95 to 98% of you have been awesome and have been patient. And any of you who have dealt with me in the past know I do everything I can to work with you. I'll replace your card, or, let's just say if it's like a $19 or $20 card that gets lost in the mail, I'll say, hey man, pick or choose one card, two cards, three cards of equal or lesser value, and I'll send them to you on my dime, or I'll refund you in full. And usually I've probably had a refund. I'm just going to throw a number out here just based on past experience. For every one order I've had to refund my customer as far as cash is concerned, I probably had 8 or 9 customers say, hey, you know what? Send me this card, send me these cards, and we'll call it a day. Now that cost me, of course, those potential sales in the future, which sucks also. Unfortunately, with somebody, and this is something even Sports Card Radio said, if they're watching, them fellas, they know their shit. And just like, Cardboard here that was in the chat said, and he says this all the time also, that, sometimes we have to eat the cost of that. And that's a fact. And it sucks that it's like that. That you have to cover your bases sometimes because you never know. You never know what's going to happen, what's going to happen down the road. And you have to eat the cost of it sometimes in order to maintain your business and in order to maintain your reputation. It cost me, so far, it's only cost me cardboard. It's cost me photos of men, where I've only had to refund somebody once or twice. But that Yoshinobu Yamamoto is the best example of that, where I put the offer in to have the card replaced. The customer decided he wanted a refund. He filed a complaint, but in this case, the customer was correct. The card was not scanned by the post office, and just poof. And I allege that the post office stole it. I'm alleging that. I would hope that the card that I saw in my informed delivery account was that Yoshinobu Yamamoto card. But the sticker on there that I saw with a little finger like this pointing, more postage, fuck you, USPS. And fuck all you Neanderthals at these post offices, because that's what most of you are. Typical union assholes who sit back and don't give a fuck about nothing. Have you ever dealt with clear-headed assholes who really don't care? They're getting their paycheck, they're getting their medical benefits, but they don't put the fucking effort in. And it's funny because even when I go to this post office over here, they're shaking down people constantly for more money. Swindling the public, in my opinion, allegedly, for more postage. Meanwhile, I've got enough experience doing this eBay stuff, and I'm like, I have a scale here. Who's to say they don't have their thumb on the scale? But I have my own scale here at home. I measure everything. I got 3 different types of rules or rulers. I keep calling it a rule. My favorite one is this, because I use these throughout my career as a union plumber. The old Lufkin stick rule, and it's a stick rule, not a ruler. I have an old-fashioned ruler right here, an old-school wood ruler, which is good if you want to draw straight lines, by the way. And one thing I noticed, and I only noticed this the other day, I might as well point this out. Back in the days, They actually had metal edges. You don't see metal edges on these anymore, I guess for safety reasons. But, and then you've got the rule on the postal scale that I have for envelopes. And of course, this is the slot that I use for the thickness, because they will pick on the thickness of an envelope as well. So I have this to mitigate that. So I'm 5 or 10 steps ahead of the post office with everything. Nobody can disprove that. Oops. It is frustrating and aggravating. But again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are customers of mine, please forgive me for the price increase with the shipping. It's like another 25 or 30 cents more. I know that sucks. I didn't want to do it. I don't like doing it. There are a lot of my listings that are still at the old shipping scale. But unfortunately, with what's going on with the post office, I can't take a chance in having cards coming back. And then you're sitting there waiting and wondering where your cards are. And by increasing the price of these cards, as far as the shipping is concerned, it forces the post office to take a look at these envelopes and scan the damn things. It sucks, you know? And I wish I didn't have to do it, but that unfortunately is something that has to be done. You know, I'm trying to keep my prices as low as I can. Usually when I get enough watchers on a card with people that are interested in my cards, I offer 10% across the board for nearly all my cards. Sometimes on a rare occasion, I'll offer 5%, but almost always I offer 10% if I have enough watchers and enough interest on a card. And before you know it, there we go. My finger's not working this morning. You know, I do my best, man. I really try. You ladies and gentlemen know that. I'm very passionate about this. You know, again, as someone that had everything, that had it all taken from him, being homeless to being back up on top again and on top of my game, I'm very passionate about your money. Not that of course, I appreciate you paying me for my cards, but you know what I mean. A lot of you work hard. I'm sure a lot of you break your ass, even if it's for 50 cents. That's your money. And I care deeply about your money, because I know what it's like not to have anything. I know what it's like to work for every single dime. I know what it's like to grind. I know what it's like to have a boss barking over your shoulder, breathing down your neck all day. I know what it's like to be under pressure. Let me tell you, 13 years on a union construction, you know, going back and forth on union construction jobs throughout my entire career. Believe me, when you're under pressure, you're under pressure, because on construction jobs, you're talking multi millions of dollars and buku bucks. And every penny that you're paid, the boss looks at that as a dollar amount. You are essentially a machine. You are a product. So, and that training has never left my mind. Just like my dad before me, just like my brother that works in construction, just like my two, you know, just like my two uncles that did it, my mother's father, my granddad who did it. Most of us are all construction workers in the family. So that old training never leaves. That thought process never leaves. But doing this myself has given me a new appreciation of what it's like to be the other guy. What it's like, you know, when you have to file taxes, when you have to file the paperwork, when you have to get the licensing, when you have to get certificates of good standing, when you have to get insurance, like all this stuff adds up, man. It adds up. It really adds up. You know, and then you have to cover the costs of the losses. Sports Card Radio is correct with their assessment. And I will vouch for that myself. They've said it before in many of their videos and live streams. You know, when you are an eBay, if you're a business owner of any kind, there are times you're going to have to eat the cost of losses. It's just the nature of the game. It's, as much as it kills me to lose money, it's just the nature of the beast doing this. And I'm not making a ton of money. I'm making pretty decent money. But it's your money that I'm playing with, and I have a responsibility to make sure you get your items. And when things like this happen because of the incompetence of the damn post office, imagine what it feels like for me, because it's my reputation on the line. You know, so, and thank God that counter over at eBay should be recycling back to 100% feedbacks again over 12 months. because I remember it was around this time last year where literally two assholes were trying to extort me feedback-wise because I wouldn't bow to their whims. Let me see here. What's this? Offer expires soon. There's actually something I'm watching on eBay right now that I want for my home. Very similar to that Germanic axe, the Viking axe that I've talked about here on the channel. I'm actually looking to see. But again, I have to make sure that it's legal to have shipped here and to own in North Carolina before I even think about buying one of these. And it's a Germanic broadsword, or a long sword to be specific. You know, I want to have like a little corner where I have like, you know, little Germanic things, Viking things here. Now, I don't have my Mjolnir on me this morning. It's actually on my dresser drawer. I forgot to put it on this morning. But I like to have a little Germanic display in the corner someplace, you know, by my Transformers collection right there, or even in my bedroom. But I got to check on the legalities of owning such a thing. Like that axe right there is considered a utility tool, but a sword is something different. So I got to look into the legality of ordering one of those before I even try to even consider buying a German broadsword for decoration for my home. But again, folks, you know, I apologize for having to raise the price of the shipping on my sports cards. I did not expect that, nor did I anticipate that. But again, with the things that are going on, again, with the post office, folks, and you see it, I have a whole playlist talking about it. The postal workers are stealing gift cards. There was check washing right here in Ballantyne, in the next county over, right here in North Carolina, specifically in Charlotte, and in Concord and Cabarrus County. You know, 75,000 packages have been sitting in limbo. Whether or not those packages have moved, I have no idea. This post office right here where I live was investigated several times for throwing out mail in the trash. You know, you see packages being stolen. Postal workers, in their defense, do get robbed on their routes. It's very disheartening. You know, and then you may have a truck that gets into a highway accident and your mail might be in that 16-wheeler and then it ends up all over the highway. There's all sorts of mitigating factors you have to consider, folks, but there are people out there, unfortunately, that just don't want to hear it. But I'm grateful that my customer base appreciates that and understand that, and I can back everything up. Even with that YouTube playlist that I have, the chaos that is USPS, all the evidence I need is there. But, you know, again, I wish there was more I can do, folks. But, you know, I'm doing my best with what I got. I'm always here on YouTube talking about these issues. That's why I bring this up all the time, to make sure that you're informed about what goes on behind the scenes. And that's the best I can do, is to try to be as transparent as I can. But again, I don't know what's coming in the mail today. The mailman won't be here until anywhere between noon and 2 o'clock. So we'll see which card is being returned to me. It might even be this Mike Trout. I don't know. It might be that Yoshinobu Yamamoto card that I had to refund the customer for. We'll see. I really don't know at this point what's in this envelope. But again, I had to replace another customer's card just to catch you up on current events. There's a Shohei Ohtani in this envelope, and I can tell because this has the new postage on it. And this is a Jeff Bagwell 1990 Mojo refractor from Topps, base refractor. And and thank God that somebody in New York, my former home, bought this New York Giants jersey, because of the asshole who I filed a harassment complaint with eBay twice for messaging me because I wouldn't bow to his whims to lower the price on my jersey. But clearly this person was trying to flip my stuff. I don't mind that. And I've had baseball card collectors, just as a little side note here, tell me that they were, the Yoshinobu Yamamoto was a perfect example of that. The customer said, hey, I hope you don't mind. I want to flip this card. You know, can you take it out of the sleeve? Can you take photos of the corners? If you can get the surface, if you can get photos of the surface of the card, are there any print lines? I don't mind that sort of thing. You know, I'm a collector too. It's just I have a big Yoshinobu Yamamoto card in my collection. I have a stratospheric stars of his from Topps Chrome, an orange out of 25. That's why I parted with all my other Yamamoto cards. And I said, yeah, sure, no problem, and sent it to him. And he wanted to get that card graded. Now he's out of that card because of the fucking post office. But you do have scum that are out there that are not honest with you. When this person in particular, well, not the customer that bought this jersey, but the dickhead, probably some Midwestern asshole with, your typical swollen beer belly with man tits or pepperoni nipples, and a wife beater and a fucking, in a rundown beat up house or a trailer, living in a trailer park, like, what the hell's the name of it? Trailer Park Boys? Is that the name of the TV show? I haven't watched that in years. With Bubbles and all of them. Like that type of people. Who are professional eBay flippers. Who go to Goodwill and all that kind of stuff. Literally trying to buy my stuff so that they can flip for twice the amount and make money off of me. It happens with sports card people, but at least they're honest about it. And many of my customers have said, hey man, my intention is to flip this card. Can I see, can you take better photos? Like the Mike Trout animated that I sold recently. I decided, listening to one of my customers, I took the card out of the top loader, out of the penny sleeve, took photos of the corners, and I try to get angles so that you can see the surface, that there's no print lines or dents or anything or dings. And the customers seemed happy with that. And now it happens sometimes, where a customer will be honest with you. And thank God there are still honest people out there that will tell you the truth, what their intent is behind buying your stuff off of you. And if they are able to grade it, more power to them, man. Hey, but at least they're honest. And I appreciate that. But this dick that was trying to get this Daniel Jones jersey for a review, you do this out of your apartment, fuck your jersey collection, because I flexed my jersey collection and all that stuff. And this person just kept messaging me. And I finally had enough. I reported him twice to eBay and blocked him so he can never message me again. It's probably some fat, ugly, lumberjack looking asshole with chest hair that looks like a bushel of broccoli popping out of his chest with, sausage nipples and a wife beater, wearing Converses that are like 50 years old with holes in the toes, who is a professional eBay flipper. And you can see, because when you click on the account and on the avatar, all you see is jerseys. And of course, they're selling them for half price of what they're valued for. Like, for example, this Daniel Jones jersey, that's a Vapor Fuse jersey. No, it's not. I'm sorry, that's a lie. It's a Vapor Elite jersey because it has the triangle vent right here on the chest. It's got the elastic shoulders on them, the bicep elastic. And I believe this is a size 48. Daniel Jones had an awful season, and that's why, now he plays, I believe, with the Colts. And I decided to sell it because, well, if he's not playing for them anymore and he had such an awful season, I'm not going to walk around with Daniel Jones on my back. All my jerseys are now Eli Manning jerseys and Phil Simms and Mark Bavaro and guys like that. But this guy was trying to get it for like, what, $50, $60? I sold it for $80 anyway, which is still a little bit less than I wanted for it. So I sold it for about a quarter of what they go for, because these jerseys are like 300. Right now, if you go on Fanatics, I challenge anybody. The Vapor Elites and or the Vapor Fuses right now at this current time, I believe are going for like $384. And this person was like, "Oh, they're not $400. No way they're $400." Yes, they are, dick face. But some people, unfortunately, are unreasonable. Nobody wants the truth. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Nobody wants facts. Everybody reacts emotionally. I just want to be right. I just want to be right. I want to sound right. I want to be correct because I am me and I think I am who I am. Bullshit. That's not how reality works. Truth is truth. Not your truth, the truth. And I ended up selling the jersey to somebody in New York, which is a good thing in its own way, because a New Yorker will get a New York Giants jersey. And that, in a way, and I know I bash my former home and attack my former home and criticize my former home. But in that instance, as a sports fan, if a Giants fan can get a Giants jersey, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? So, all right, folks. It's 10 after 10. I've been on here for an hour. Listen, again, I apologize for any inconvenience to my eBay customers. I do my best to be as transparent as possible. That's why I come on camera. You can see my face. You can message me in the live streams. You can message me on eBay, all that good stuff. You know, I do my best to make sure that you get your items. But once it's in the hand of the post office, you know, it's a toss-up, unfortunately. You know, and I'm just throwing a number out there. This is not based on any type of fact. This is just, you know, me trying to make a comparison. For every 12 orders that arrive to my customers, there's always that one that's a problem, unfortunately. And there's really not much I can do. And I try my best to negotiate. And thank God this customer that ordered that Mike Trout refractor, that 1989 refractor from Topps Chrome, was, you know, nice enough and professional enough to accept my offer to either choose a card for my current listings of equal value, or I'll refund you your money. And they decided to go for a Shohei Ohtani. So it worked out in the end. Hopefully this card makes it, and this card will have the new postage on it. And this is coming out of my pocket now, unfortunately. So, but thank you, everybody. I'm going to have some breakfast. I'm starving. My stomach is starting to growl. You probably may not hear it on camera, but again, thank you to my eBay customers. They may do a video review today of, you know, another jersey, one of the 2 Bayern Munich jerseys I ordered recently. There's a lot of stuff coming down the pike. I got multiple Transformers on order, on reservation. There's no such thing as pre-order. You either reserve a thing or you don't. All right? Or you order for a thing. Proper English. That's like the nitwits and the dimwits that say the word often, pronouncing the T. It's often. There is proper English, folks. So I've put in my reservation for Missing Link Ultra Magnus. It's supposed to ship at the end of March. I did get the email for that. Some people are starting to get their Studio Series magenta hot rods. I haven't seen any movement on mine yet. My reservation was put in. I did order for Power Glide, and I did order for Shockwave recently. And, I forgot. I also ordered for Skywarp. So I got 5 reservations put in. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, you can tell my stomach is starting to growl, folks. Time to eat. Plenty of Transformer stuff. There will be some more sports card talk in the future to my sports card peeps, more jersey talk, all that sort of thing, sneaker talk as it comes about. But on that note, folks, again, my apologies, you know, if your cards are just, you know, in the void of the damn post office. You know, I'm trying my best, folks. I'm at a loss for words. And I'm hungry. So it's just trying to maintain a positive attitude about all this. I'm very grateful to my eBay customers for understanding this stuff. And that's why I come on camera, to show my face. Not one of these lousy box breakers like this asshole that took a 1-of-1 from one of their customers and then disappeared and deleted their social media account, which a lot of the sports card talking heads have been talking about recently, that this person literally took the 1-of-1 for himself. And we see this all the time with breakers. And there's always a lot of fuckery going on in the sports card hobby and in the TCG Pokemon one-touch space as well. All right, I'm going to eat, and then I have a walk to take. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the channel. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button with every video and short and live stream that I do. That thumbs up button really helps the channel to grow, gets these videos and these live streams out in the algorithm. And also subscribe. That really helps as well. The channel continues to grow because of all of you. And in every single video, live stream, and short, the link to my eBay store is always in the description box. You click on that, it'll take you right over to my eBay store. I have over 600 items. Man, you people cleaned me out. I probably sold anywhere between, I'm just throwing a wild guess out there, I want to say anywhere between 60 to 100 items in like the past month and a half or so. You people are awesome, folks. Thank you so much for your support of a small business like mine, and of this channel, and of the various hobbies, of course. I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Take care, God bless, stay safe, and I will see you all very soon. Until next time.